A few weeks ago, I received a package from Amazon with this book, Do Epic Shit by Ankur Warikoo inside of it. When I received the book, I just opened it, flicked through a few pages, and then put it on my bookshelf. After a few days, I returned back to it and started reading it, and then it changed my perspective completely. Now, we all know who Ankur Warikoo is. He's a famous content creator and entrepreneur. And based on the highly practical and impactful content that he creates, many people have high expectations from this book. And does this book stay true to that? Does this book meet all those expectations and come out as a great book? Let's find it out. When you look at the book, do epic shit and go through the contents page, you'll see that there are various parts. Some of them are success and failure, habits, awareness, money, relationships, entrepreneurship, and just with that overall glance, you might feel that is this just another self-help and non-fiction book that we all are used to? Well, at least that is what my first perception was when I just scrolled through the book a little. But when I got to reading it, this completely changed. Do Epic Shit is not just another non-fiction book that you're used to reading. It is a completely different book. In fact, the author himself writes in the introduction that this might just be the most useless book that you'll ever buy because nothing in this book is new. It is just a reminder for you to reflect and learn. And I can guarantee you after reading the book that it will not be the most useless one you buy. And the part about reminders is what makes this book really unique. If you open this book on, let's say, we go to page number 46. Here, Ankur Warikoo talks about some of his mistakes, and one of them is I didn't think about subjective topics such as psychology, business ethics, or human resources were needed or even important. Business is all about finance and marketing, business is all about people, how well you know them, and how you treat them. Now, this is a lesson that I took away from page number 46. If I open the book on page number 159, it says, as adults, the single biggest hurdle to learning is pride. And that is what's the most unique about this book. Every single page will give you a new learning. Whether you open the book on page 150, 160, 90, whatever it is, you will not feel as if you've missed out on something. And even if you just start reading from there, the book will be as useful as it would be if you were to read from page 1. And that's the beauty of it. That's something that I really loved. And each page acts as a reminder for you to reflect, to learn, and to understand how can you improve your life a little. Whether it is in your understanding of what success and failure mean in your habits, in your relationship with people, whatever it is. These subtle reminders hit really hard and they're written in such a simple way that we feel I kind of knew this thing all along, I just did not implement it. And this book inspires us to keep going and implement that. And that is what I love the most about this book. Now, let's just go through an overview of each of these sections that the book covers and how they can help you. The first part of the book is success and failures. And this is personally one of my favorite parts because here Ankur has shared his candid journey of how he dealt with failures and successes throughout his life, and through that, he shares with us some very important life lessons that we can implement and that we can learn from. The list of mistakes that he shared with us in these sections really help us introspect and understand, are we also doing the same thing? Is it right? And just by reading this book, you can understand and learn how you can avoid the mistakes that Ankur did and save some years of your life as well. And that is very impactful. And through this section, the one aspect that really touched me deep was the resume of his failures. We always talk about the successes, right? Whenever we make a resume, it has all the good things about us, the places we worked, the kind of degree we have, the success we have achieved. But here, Ankur shared with us a resume of his failures. And through that, he showed all of us that it is okay to fail. It is okay to make mistakes. What matters is that you learn from those mistakes and you keep growing and you keep doing better and better. And then we move on to the second section of the book, that is habits. Here, Ankush shares with us the whole journey of building the right habits that can help us sustain and be a better person. Because let's face this fact, when you set goals, right, you can try to do as many things as you want and you will get there. But if you get there in a condition that you don't like, if you don't feel the fulfillment, and if you have become a bitter, egoistic person, is there even any use of it? There isn't. And that is why we need habits. That is why we need the habit section of this book. It shows us how to become that better person. Whether it is waking up early or whatever kind of habit it is, when you read this section, you will be inspired to build better ones and continue growing. And then the third section comes on the topic of awareness. Many times in life, we make a lot of decisions. But are they from the point of awareness or are they from a point of ignorance? Are we just making those decisions based on our assumptions? Or do we understand the situation very deeply and know that yes, this is going to be the right choice for us? In fact, are we even aware of the things that make us happy? Are we even aware of the things that make us feel fulfilled? Right? We are not aware of most of these things, and then when we read this section we get the reminder to understand ourselves, to become more aware and start making decisions from the point of awareness, so that we can make lesser mistakes and grow as much as possible. A key highlight of Anku's life has been being an entrepreneur. For over 10 years, he worked at making successful startups like Groupon and Nearby. And through this fourth section on entrepreneurship, he shares some invaluable insights on how new startup founders and people who are venturing into entrepreneurship can be better and learn from his mistakes, so that they don't have to repeat the same ones and waste years of their lives trying to recover from that. And the lessons in there were really impactful, and it is not just limited to entrepreneurship but to other aspects of life also. Because in whatever we are doing, whatever we are building, we need creativity, we need dedication, we need patience. And those are the key lessons that I have derived from this chapter on how we can go forward and build startups that impact the world. And then comes a very important aspect, money. Let's face it, as much as we like to say money won't buy you happiness, money is not the ultimate thing in life, we have to accept that without money we cannot have these things. Money is a critical aspect of surviving, because whatever goods we buy these days, whatever services we avail, all of them are purchased through money. And when we have the money to fund our dreams and to live a basic life, then we can move forward to growing and leading a happier and more stress free life. And so having money is very important. Yet in our households, we don't discuss what saving is, we don't discuss what investing is, we don't discuss what money management and financial planning is. And then all of a sudden, we expect that when we get out of college, we'll know how to handle money. That is not how it works. And that is exactly why in this section, Ankur shares with us the importance of having financial literacy and how we can make our relationship with money a better one, a more positive one, so that money continues to serve us and that we do not end up serving money and just live our life to get that paycheck at the end of the month. And when we understand this aspect, we'll be able to use money not as the root of all evil, but we'll be able to use it to build a happier, stress free, and much more fulfilled life. And finally, as we are talking about life, comes the sixth section, relationships, and the relationships that we have with ourselves and with the people around us. Relationships play a very critical role in life, because if we don't have right relationships, if we have toxic people around us, if we don't have the positive people around us, then we will become like them, we will become negative, we will become toxic. And who wants to lead that life, right? You don't want that, even I don't want that. And so building the right environment and improving our relationships with our parents, with our children, with our colleagues, with our friends is a very important thing that we all have to do. Yet we don't spend a lot of time in that. Ankur in this chapter shares a very candid journey of how he made mistakes in his relationships, of how he could not give the most time to his children, and how he's recovering from that, how he's giving more time now. And that is the best thing I like about Ankur in this entire book. In every section, he shares his failures, He shares the mistakes he made, not from the point that what will people think, but from the point that I hope this inspires someone to understand that making mistakes is okay and that they can learn from my mistakes. And that is an absolutely wonderful attitude. And then this section, it ends on the letters that Ankur wrote to his children, which he did not write to them actually, but he felt that he should have. And they are like the cherry on top of the cake. They are so real, so raw, and so authentic that we can feel them. We can understand the emotions that go on behind them. And then that is what leaves the final impact. That is what makes us feel. This book really was a wonderful read, and it gave us so many insightful ideas to work upon, to think about. And those letters share with us the idea that we don't need a lot to be happy. We should just focus on the little things, the family that we have, the basic resources that we have, and be grateful. And that just makes our life so much happier, so much better. And that is the best note to end the book on. When I went through the book, it was an amazing journey for me. It completely changed my perspective on what a book can be. It showed me that every page can have a different insight, and yet all of it can be interlinked, all of it can be congruent. And that's the most wonderful thing. Now, what I want you to do is write about your insights in the comment section if you have read this book, and if not, grab your copy now. I'll put up the link of the Amazon in the description. Get your copy, read the book. It will be an amazing read. And whenever you feel like it, just open a random page each day, read that, and that can be a lesson you have to implement that day. That's how this book works. Even if you don't read it in one single go, that's all right. Take your time, understand, implement, and then this book will become really practical and really impactful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.